Hey there, internet dwellers. Grab your tinfoil hats and settle in because we're about to dive into a tale so wild, you'll think it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. But hold on to your keyboards, folks, because this is 100% real. Picture this: 7 ordinary-looking people scattered across the globe, each holding a key that, when combined, can literally turn off and reboot the entire internet. No, this isn't the plot of the next Netflix series. It's actual reality. Mind-blowing, right? Now, before you start frantically Googling how to survive without Wi-Fi, which, ironically, you couldn't do if the internet was down, let's break this down. We're talking about the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, or IANA. These folks are like the librarians of the internet, keeping everything organized and running smoothly. But instead of books, they're managing IP addresses and domain names. At the heart of this system is something called the Domain Name System, or DNS. Think of it as the internet's phone book. When you type in a web address, the DNS translates it into the actual numerical IP address that computers use. It's like having a translator for every website you visit. But here's where it gets juicy. The entire DNS system is secured by something called the DNS Security Extensions, or DNSSEC. This is where our 7 key holders come into play. These individuals, chosen for their trustworthiness and technical know-how, each hold a piece of a cryptographic key that, when combined, can generate a master key for the entire system. Now, you might be thinking, why on earth would we need to reboot the internet? Well, imagine if there was a massive security breach or a catastrophic failure in the system. Having a way to essentially turn it off and on again, yes, just like your home router, could be the difference between chaos and a quick fix. But let's pause for a second and appreciate the sheer absurdity of this situation. Somewhere out there, 7 people are walking around with the power to make your cat video addiction come to a screeching halt. They're like the Avengers of the internet age, minus the cool costumes and superpowers as far as we know. These key holders meet up a few times a year in a highly secure facility. Picture a Bond villain's lair, but with more computers and less sharks with laser beams. They go through an elaborate ceremony to generate new cryptographic keys, ensuring the continued security of the internet's core systems. Now, before you start planning a heist to steal these keys, looking at you, aspiring supervillains, know that this system is designed with multiple layers of security. Even if someone managed to get their hands on one key, it would be useless without the others. It's like trying to open a bank vault with just one of 7 required keys. You'd be better off trying to guess your ex's new Netflix password. But let's take a step back and consider the implications of this system. On one hand, it's reassuring to know that there's a failsafe in place if things go horribly wrong. On the other hand, it's a bit unsettling to think that 7 people have this much power over something we've all come to rely on so heavily. Imagine if one of these key holders woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day. You know what? I'm tired of all these TikTok dances. Time to pull the plug. Thankfully, that's not how it works. The system is designed so that no single person has too much power. It's a delicate balance of trust, responsibility, and really, really good IT skills. Now let's indulge in a little thought experiment. What would happen if the internet actually did go down for a significant period? First off, your mom would finally stop tagging you in those embarrassing Facebook posts. But on a more serious note, the repercussions would be massive. Think about how much of our daily lives revolves around the internet. Banking, communication, entertainment, work, all of it would be affected. We'd suddenly find ourselves living like it's 1995 again. Hope you kept your old Encarta CD-ROMs. Businesses would grind to a halt. The global economy would take a massive hit. And let's not even talk about the panic that would ensue when people realize they can't check their Instagram likes. It would be chaos, I tell you. Chaos. But here's the kicker. This system isn't just about having the power to turn off the internet. It's about maintaining the integrity and security of a system that billions of people rely on every day. These key holders are guardians of sorts, protecting us from the digital equivalent of the apocalypse. And let's be real, it's probably for the best that most of us don't have this kind of power. I mean, I can barely be trusted with the TV remote. Imagine if I had the ability to turn off the entire internet every time someone spoiled a movie for me or beat me at online chess. So who are these mysterious key holders? Well, that's the thing, we don't really know. Their identities are kept secret for obvious reasons. But I like to imagine they're a diverse group of tech geniuses from around the world. Maybe there's a coding prodigy from Tokyo, a cybersecurity expert from Nairobi, a retired hacker from Sao Paulo, and a college professor from Toronto. Throw in a former spy from London, a Silicon Valley veteran, and a surprise wildcard. Let's say a librarian from a small town in New Zealand who's secretly a coding wizard. These individuals go about their daily lives, blending in with the rest of us. They probably stand in line for coffee, binge-watch Netflix shows, and argue with their families about politics at Thanksgiving dinner, just like the rest of us. The only difference is that they're carrying around a key that, when combined with 6 others, could plunge the world into digital darkness. It's like a real-life version of that game where you have to keep your finger on the app button, except the stakes are slightly higher than winning a car. These folks are playing Don't Accidentally Shut Down the Internet 24/7. Talk about pressure. But here's a fun thought. What if we did let the internet reboot once in a while? Imagine if once a year we had an internet Sabbath. For 24 hours, the whole system goes dark. No social media, no emails, no online shopping. We'd all be forced to, I don't know, go outside or something. Read a physical book. Talk to our neighbors. Remember what our own faces look like without a front-facing camera? On second thought, maybe that's too radical. Let's stick with the current system. Now, you might be wondering, why 7? Why not 6 or 8? Well, 7 is a pretty magical number in many cultures. 7 days in a week, 7 wonders of the world, 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The true wonder of the world, if you ask me. But in this case, it's all about balance and security. 7 provides enough redundancy that if 1 or 2 key holders are unavailable, the system can still function. But it's not so many that it becomes unwieldy to manage. It's worth noting that this system isn't static. The keys are changed regularly to maintain security. So if you're planning a long-term heist, again looking at you, supervillains, you might want to reconsider your career choices. The existence of this system raises some interesting philosophical questions. In an age where we're increasingly concerned about privacy and the concentration of power in the hands of a few tech giants, how do we feel about 7 individuals having this kind of control? Is it a necessary safeguard or a potential threat? On one hand, it's comforting to know that there's a human element involved in maintaining the internet's core infrastructure. It's not just all algorithms and AI. There are actual people, with a sense of responsibility and ethics, overseeing this critical system. On the other hand, it's a stark reminder of just how fragile our digital world can be. We tend to think of the internet as this intangible, ever-present force. But at its core, it's a physical system, vulnerable to physical threats and human error. But let's not get too doom and gloom here. The fact is, this system has been working pretty darn well. The internet hasn't collapsed into chaos, well, no more than usual, and cat videos continue to flow uninterrupted. These key holders, whoever they are, seem to be doing a bang-up job. So the next time you're mindlessly scrolling through your social media feed at 3 a.m., spare a thought for the 7 guardians of the internet. They're out there somewhere, carrying their keys, ready to save us all from digital oblivion. Or maybe they're also mindlessly scrolling through social media at 3 a.m. They're only human after all. In conclusion, the internet is a complex, fascinating, and sometimes absurd place. The fact that it can theoretically be rebooted by 7 people with special keys is just one of its many quirks. It's a reminder that behind all the memes, tweets, and streaming services, there's a very real, very human infrastructure keeping it all running. So here's to you, mysterious key holders. May your keys remain safe, your internet connections fast, and your cat video supply plentiful. And to the rest of us, maybe it's time we all learned a bit more about how this whole internet thing actually works. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll be tapped to be key holder number 8. Until then, keep surfing, stay curious, and remember, the next time your internet goes out, it's probably just your router acting up, not a global reboot initiated by 7 secret guardians. Probably.